everybody, what's going on, and welcome to another installment of Critical Reviews. Today on this segment we're going to be talking about the movie that could be the most insulting thing ever created about players and fans of Dungeons & Dragons. Today we're going to be talking about the CBS made-for-TV movie, Mazes and Monsters. Bound by their desire to play Dungeons & Dragons, Mazes and Monsters, Robbie and his 3 college classmates take the board game to an all-new level when they play the game in a dangerous cave. This leads to one of the players losing his mind. Or at least the movie wants you to believe that. A lot of people thought that this movie was propaganda against players of Dungeons & Dragons, and let's face it, it is. That being said, it's pretty lousy propaganda. Look, I can't tell you anything you haven't already heard about this movie. This movie tries to say that Dungeons & Dragons, Mazes and Monsters, preys on the lonely and/or damaged people of the world. The characters of this movie are indicative of that. The first character has an absentee or ignoring mother, is kind of lonely and possibly suicidal. The second character didn't have a father growing up, and that leads to daddy issues and problems in dating. The third character has overbearing parents, and he ends up kind of being a womanizer. Lastly, there's Tom Hanks' character who grows up with a dysfunctional family, and I'm not a doctor so I can't really diagnose him, but he has some sort of mental issue. The characters in this movie use gaming as an escape from real life. Dungeons & Dragons, Mazes and Monsters, is something all 4 of the main characters use to get through the issues in their lives. I mean, some of the characters flat out say it. While I won't say that this isn't true for some people, the same could be said about any hobby. I mean, come on, I watch movies to escape every now and then. I can quit anytime I want. Really, I can. Really. The characters, especially the one played by Tom Hanks, are already damaged. In some cases, again, Hanks' character has a mental disorder. Anything, and I mean anything, could be his trigger. In the case of this movie, it's Dungeons & Dragons. Mazes and Monsters. If this movie was made today, his trigger would probably be something like virtual reality, video games, or even, being a YouTube celebrity. Look, let's just call this propaganda movie out for what it really is. Despite having the message forced down our throat by Lieutenant Martini here, Dungeons & Dragons, Mazes and Monsters, is not the problem. This is the story about 3 college students that pressure another with a mental illness into playing a game he has had issues with in the past. One of the students takes the game too far after he thinks he is going unnoticed despite all of the parties he throws and wants to be remembered. Throw in a lame love story complete with scenes of the couple running, walking, and playing the game together and some sappy music, plus a forced message of hope being lost because their friend is sick and needs professional help, and you get this monstrosity. But of course, it can't be mental illness, can it? No, the movie blames Dungeons & Dragons. No. I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to. No. Fine, Mazes and Monsters. What this ends up being is a made-for-TV movie that just so happens to star one of the best modern-day actors of this generation. This movie won't turn people off from Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons. But from made-for-TV movies instead, because this movie sucks. Next time on Critical Reviews, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite episodes of one of my favorite cartoons, Gravity Falls. Dungeons, Dungeons, and more Dungeons.
Let's yon priestess go, elf mage!
Never, Paladin Radmaster! Fireball! Fireball! Fireball!
As always, thank you so much for watching. What did you think of Mazes and Monsters? Feel free to comment out down in the section below. I'm Gino Reynolds from The Real Gino. Till next time.